Hello and welcome back to the next installment of The Artist Sanctuary with Whitney Morrison, where we gain clarity and inspiration through exploring the heart, mind, and soul of being an artist. I am your host, Whitney Morrison. I am a singer. I didn't say that last time, but yes, I'm an opera singer, a recent alum of the Lyric Opera's Ryan Opera Center. I'm an emerging artist, a music minister, a thought leader, a speaker, an artist advocate, and an arts advocate. And I am here once again to be your companion as we take this journey together to hone our why and to allow that to inform the way we live our lives. Today, I'm so excited about this episode because this is something that has been on my heart. Today is a tribute to artistic beings. I got a response from last episode that talked about artistic beings, and I loved it. So it's a tribute to us. And my working title, though I don't know if I'll actually name the episode this, is Nobles in the Gutter. Yeah, you heard right. We're talking about the plight of artists in pandemic. And this is a FUBU type of thing for us, by us. So we're going to hold space for us to remember. Come on, y'all. We need to remember those formative moments and our first interactions with art that have drawn us to this path. We're going to take some time to explore the tension between that and the scarcity of opportunities. And then we're going to have our come to Jesus moment where we take a moment to affirm ourselves in light of it all. And so I'm really excited to get started, y'all. But first we're going to pray. And if you don't pray, that's okay because I will. I am no longer my own, but thine. Put me to what thou wilt. Rank me with whom thou wilt. Amen. That prayer today comes from the covenant prayer from John Wesley. So, housekeeping. Thanks for all the encouragement. At this point, in real time, we've only done the soft launch, but the response from just that has been so encouraging and so affirming. And so by this time, I'm sure that it will have been out out there time. So from everything that may come, thank you. So let's do it. Today's quote is from I'm not telling you yet. So there's a visual cue in the frame, and that should help you figure out who these words are by. What am I in the eyes of most people? A non-entity, an eccentric, or an unpleasant person? Somebody who has no position in society and never will have. In short, the lowest of the low. Part B. All right then, even if that were absolutely true, then I should one day like to show by my work what such an eccentric, such a nobody has in his heart. See, that is my ambition, based less on resentment than on love, in spite of everything. Who said it? Who said it? Can you guess? Can you guess? Can you guess? If I've talked to you about this in real life, you are disqualified. Not that they're surprised, but I want you to press pause and put it in the comments if you know, okay? That quote was from Vincent van Gogh. His stuff is on his art is on my shirt. Yes, that was a Vincent van Gogh quote from the Dutch painter. And yo, did you hear what that man said? Now, when I read this, I said, "Is that the one in the history books? Is that the one I was reading in class? Is that the one on my shirt?" When I was just in IKEA the other day, did I see a copy of his paintings in the store like that? And I'm like, why was he? Why did he feel like that? I think of him as one of these artist giants, but in his life and in his time, that is the way he felt about himself. And I thought about that, and I was just like, well, he not wrong. He not wrong, because I feel that way a lot of times too. Not necessarily, not always personally, but as an artist in a community of artists, the sense of nobodiness and the sense of being kind of pushed to the margins in a way that is not reflective of what we actually contribute to society. I get it. And I realized that it wasn't just me. So today I decided to open up about it and to ask you to join me and for us to explore it together. Yeah. So before I got any of the messaging, any of the strong messaging about, the lack and fear and dishonor, I would call it, around being an artist, art was only good. It was all good, and it was the best part of life. Remember that time when music and the art around the house or wherever you were, it was what keyed you into the world and what made everyone around you really come alive. And so I want to talk about that a little bit, and I want to hold space for us so that we can remember, really remember. I don't want to cry. But during these times, to just spend time relishing in those moments that brought us to this beautiful path, I think is worth our time. And so as I go on this journey, I am kind of like testifying as like the tour guide in a way. But I'm hoping you will remember and visualize those moments for yourself, those parallel moments, and really take that time. And if you are willing, please do share anything that comes to your mind in the comments. Feel free to write me. It would be my distinct honor and privilege to learn more about you and more of those formative years that brought you to your art. So for as long as I can remember, music, art, it was just what made everybody alive, like I was saying. It was what my dad could not stop talking about with his brothers and his siblings. Oh my gosh. Oh, your uncle this plays that. And your auntie sang with John P. Key. He was so proud. And I still remember him getting ready for church, like in all white, ironing his clothes on Sabbath. Anyway. Ironing his clothes till Won't He Make You Clean Inside by Hezakiah Walker. No music. Won't he make you clean? Anyway, anybody who know that know what a jam that is. But he used to always have this. He used to always sing and kind of beatbox the bass line because he was a bassist. And I just remember him just like getting down. And to this moment, that song evokes that memory. So R.I.P. Daddy, I love you. We miss you. But I also remember like Aunt Martha, she used to come and bring her little fellowship tapes and used to sit in my mama's chair. Now, y'all, I don't know if this chair was pink or peach. When I was younger, we used to live in a house that was peach. But everybody said we lived in a pink house. And we were like, it's not pink, it's peach. So I don't know if that chair was velvet pink or if it was peach. But anyway, she used to sit in the chair and used to put on that music, and I would clear the floor. I mean, just getting down. And I remember her just sitting there very, very content with our childish glee as we just ripped and ran all over the place. Art was what a stranger, Annie Lee, could do to capture the essence of my mother and her sisters playing cards. I don't know how many people had Annie Lee art in their house, but I was like, are there cameras in here? Does she know them? How does she know that one was my mama? That was us Cynthia. Like we named everybody in the photos. And even another one my mom had in the house captured what it was for my aunt to just sit on the side of her bed. I didn't know how artful those moments in life were to take. Ooh, sorry. Ooh, I don't know why I'm getting choked up, but I didn't know that I should treasure those moments. But art highlighted that for me and has allowed me to cherish those moments. It's caused my attention to go there. Whoo, y'all, this is personal. Whoo, whoo, whoo. I remember being in school, y'all, mama crying. I've been over this content, and this is not the moment where I ever plan to cry. But it's just so real. It's just so real. Woo. But I remember, seeing all the Judy Blume books and all of the other books with the little white boy protagonist, which I enjoyed. But when I walked in that library and saw the cover of Amazing Grace, her color was like mine. Her hairstyle was like mine. Her eyes lit up like mine. Her smile was just like mine. I saw myself in that little girl on the front of that book, and I had to check it out. And I learned of her courage to defy cultural standards, to defy societal standards, to really actualize herself in an art performance. I mean, just these formative moments, letting it rip in all the school assemblies. When I tell you, I just to let my head fly back and let it and wail. And not to mention when we dressed up and went to the important places. Thinking about going to church. And I mean, this was the place we were supposed to talk about and meet God. And I remember art, the spoken word, the band, the music, how it evoked tears, poignant tears, shouts of joy, and trysts with the spirit. Lord, that could not be explained. And it wouldn't have been wise to try to explain it. But those moments always oozed with unquestionable significance. And then I began to solo at church and all of that. And it's just like, wait. I've been sitting here receiving all of this value for all of this time. Y'all, it's a bug. I'm sorry. I can't. I hate them. Pray for me. Yo, it was a bug in here. I had to go handle business. But anyway, I remember sitting, getting all of that value. And then when I started soloing for church and for the gospel choir at school, I realized, it's not that I only was able to receive that power, but that it was in me. Whew. I can't get through this episode without crying. Gosh. But it was in me. And that I could share that with people. It was like, wow. Defining moment in my life. And, all through my childhood, I mean, who didn't see? Okay, come on now. Who didn't see Sister Act 2? We all saw it, okay? So, there was always Sister Act 2 in the background. And, there was Rita's mom, Miss Watson, who had all that stuff to say about her being a singer. But eventually, all of that stuff, she came around and all of that got resolved. I thought, okay, since art was all of that, since music was all of that, since it was life at its best, sure, why not? I didn't know what I was going to do. But after I started studying, I figured I might as well go for it. And I remember, although they weren't the same words, the words of Miss Watson, in a more familiar voice. Instead of saying, singing does not pay the bills, lies. Singing does not, what is it? Singing does not put food on the table. At my house, it does. Singing is no guarantee of a future, even if you have got talent. And that's true about everything, okay? What guarantee? We in a pandemic code. What guarantee of a future is there? But no, seriously, y'all. But yeah, I felt like I heard that similar sentiment from, or that sentiment from a familiar voice, in saying, "You're so good at so many things. Can't you do something else? Can't you do something else?" And that voice was trembling with fear, cloaked in conviction. And I had not given it a thought before I opened my mouth to say the next thing I said. But it wasn't just something to do. It was something I felt called to. And I love the singer Joyce DiDonato. I remember listening to one of her interviews, and she said something to the effect of, "We sing," and in this case, in my case, I sing, but we art because we have to. And spoiler alert, my mom came around for sure. She realized that I had to, and she didn't want to be in my way. Woo, y'all. That wasn't the cry moment either. I don't know how I thought I was going to get through this and not cry. Oh, that's number 3. Now, if y'all keeping count, just let me know in the comments. And so to this day, you know, she has been one of the most consistent and practical supporters of what I do. And I would not be a singer, or it would have been much more difficult without her. So thanks, Mom. We doing it. But anyway, she wasn't afraid for no reason. And that leads me to the words of Leontyne Price. We should not have a tin cup out for something as important as arts in this country, the richest in the world. Creative artists are always begging, but always being used when it's time to show us at our best. At this point, I want to talk a little bit about that opportunity, that reason, that reasonable fear that people have, that parents have about young people going into arts, especially during this time. And some people may say, well, you know, look at this person and that famous person and this person with all of the resources. Why don't you be more like them? And to me, it's just like, those are token artists. You ever heard of a token black? I feel like there are some token artists, right? And often they are the exception, not the rule. And so I'm grateful. I mean, I'm not here to position myself as any type of victim in any way. I'm grateful for the opportunities that I've had. And to be honest, during this pandemic, I know that I'm more comfortable than some. And I am grateful. I'm grateful for the opportunities that I've had, and the opportunity I continue to have to dedicate myself to artistic endeavors. And so, you know, I'm grateful for, you know, for young artist programs and residencies. But I also remember what it was like going through school. And I see so many of us, so many of you struggling. I remember, and I'm not very removed at all. I'm not very removed at all from the 2 year, 2.5 year gap that I had between school and a job. Yeah, I just imagine. I can only imagine what things would have been like if I didn't have that support. I can only imagine if those 2 years would have been 2020. You know what I'm saying? I can only imagine what is happening because I remember, and it wasn't even during these times, I remember going through, a whole season, maybe two, I can't even remember, of auditions with just auditions, okay? Okay. Didn't know anything about what they call the inside path and all of this kind of stuff. But I've talked with a couple people who have the benefit and the perspective of time on their side, and they consistently tell me this is the time. Young artists is the time. Between things is the time. While you're trying to get yourself established is the time that we lose so many artists. And my heart is here for those budding artists. I am here for them. I think of artists like butterflies. I have a whole philosophy around this. And I'm excited to share it when the time is right. But we're kind of building the foundation of our relationship here. So stick around because there's so much to share. Even though I'm talking a whole lot, I got a whole lot more. But yeah, I think of artists as butterflies, right? And so I see society as society at large. People love butterflies. Oh, I don't know if I know a person who don't like a butterfly, right? But people are kind of meh about caterpillars. It's just like, whatever. But do you know every butterfly you ever seen was a caterpillar first? That's the only way you become a butterfly is that you got to make it out of caterpillar. Okay. And what I'm saying is, so we have these people, and I don't know if I'm one of them. Maybe I am. Maybe I'm in between. It's not about pointing fingers, but I love artists. I love the ones who have made it. I love the ones who are budding in between, the ones who are just sprouting. Like, I love it. I love everybody, right? But I see in society where we just like the butterflies, but we'll step on a caterpillar. What kind of backward thinking is that? If you build in a butterfly sanctuary, because guess what? Especially some species of butterflies are becoming extinct, right? And so they're endangered. And I see artists is that way before the pandemic. So now I'm just like, Lord, help us. Okay. Help us. But yeah, if you're planning for a butterfly sanctuary, woo, y'all, I read this week and it was good to me. You have to have both nectar plants. That's what the adult butterflies eat nectar. And then you have to have host plants, which is where the caterpillars can live and eat, right? Because if you only have the nectar plants, you only provide for the grown adults. But once those die off, if they don't have anywhere to lay their eggs, if the caterpillars and the eggs don't have any place to grow and eat, then we don't love butterflies for real. We just like the ones we see, but we're not interested in making sure that they can survive. And that's what I'm talking about with the arts. Yes, let's have the nectar plants. Let's have these amazing artists that we can look up to and aspire to. But also, we need, y'all, I know y'all feel me out there. We need more space to hold more space for budding artists. Because like art is so important. Why is it so hard to make a living at it? Why do we have our hands out? Why are we these people with this noble vocation and in the gutter? And speaking of the nobility of what we do, y'all, I gotta talk to us. Come on in. We're gonna talk about it. Because at the end of the day, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. You can't pay me to do art. Yes, I'm talking about finances, that we need an opportunity to dedicate ourselves, but you can't really pay artists for what we do. right? You can help us dedicate ourselves, but the amount of love, the amount of commitment that goes into a well-prepared piece of art, I personally, I just feel like you can't pay me. There's the thought, and I don't know where I got this from, but the cost of a thing is the amount of time it takes to do it. And I've expanded on that to say a cost of a thing is the amount of time, energy, and attention it takes to do it. And when I think about years in school and training, almost akin to a doctor or a lawyer, you know what I'm saying? Hours and hours of study, you know what I'm saying? Time away from family, especially performers. Everything, when I think about it, everything I eat, sleep, the bodily dedication of an athlete, the study of a scholar, the spiritual awareness of a nun, the social understanding of an activist, biology, history, emotional intelligence. And we as artists bring so much of this at any given point joyfully, willingly. And yet we feel like we need to justify our need to be able to exist while people pop like popcorn what is produced like truffle. They pop it like popcorn. But, okay. So this is not about entitlement. This is about dignity. Dignity. The opportunity to actualize our fullest potential. Y'all, I got a news flash. Hello, we still in the room? We still in the room? I got a news flash. Because we act like we don't understand what's going on. But when will society realize that our collective highest potential is inextricably bound to the ability of each of us to actualize our highest personal potential? You can't separate it. And so we trying to make anything great again? Well, we need to look to the margins. Because everybody got to come on board before anything is great ever. Okay? And I think about actors. I mean, y'all, we're going to talk about it, ain't we? Okay. Chadwick Boseman. Think about him. I think about actors and his journey and talking about art as or talking about valuing art at the amount of vital resources we expend. That man was dying, y'all, and training. I can't imagine that there was an amount of money on his mind to get him through that, right? But when I listen to his talks about a sense of purpose, about a sense of treasure within him, that he was giving us a gift that we could never compensate him for. Never. But people can say, well, he had a livelihood. Sure, eventually. But this is the same young person who needed a private donor during college. Denzel Washington helped put that man through school. And my question is, talking about the young artists again, y'all, my question is, when did he get the potential to be our T'Challa? Was it when he got his first film deal? When did it start? And if he didn't get that support, would he have ever realized that potential for us? Would he have? Just seeing all of this, y'all, this pandemic got me triggered. It got me triggered because I felt like this before the pandemic. Yeah, I see so many artists struggling and out of work. And my burden is for the opportunity for dedication, especially for those who demonstrate a clear need to be doing this, a clear got to do this, a clear sense of service, but have been stymied by financial and socioeconomic challenges. I see us out here Those who have dedicated ourselves and themselves so generously beyond what they could be quote unquote compensated for. And to continue to I think about just crashing into a ceiling multiple times until you break through to get to another ceiling. To see these artists, some of the most, maybe as Van Gogh would call it, some of the most brilliant and resilient nobodies of this society. To see them, to see you, to see us, already, I would call it an endangered species facing its warmest winter ever. I'm triggered, y'all. I'm triggered. Let me tell you something. I see and I believe in my vision and my sanctified imagination. But I see and I value every sacrifice, every hour and every thought dedicated in the service of art and people. I honor your bloodied feet, your cold fingers, and your open throats. I want to affirm the self-doubting, the fearful, and the depleted. And I would like to bring awareness to the fact that this struggle has been intensified exponentially through this pandemic. But it was here before that. And it ought not have been in the first place. Y'all, I'm going to read a little bit because I want to be precise with my language. It ought not be that the gatekeepers of humanity, those who teach and help others, know what it means, what it truly means to be human. It ought not be that we be on our last, while the inordinately wealthy are handed more to hoard. It ought not be that those who carry, challenge, and brilliantly facilitate connection with our highest ideals as a society, that these would be in a position to turn the fullest extent of your creative genius to how you will make rent. It ought not be, ever. As Jishnu, Jishuish put it so well on Instagram, as you binge watch your 13th series, or read a book, or sleep to music, remember that in the darkest days, when everything stopped, you turned to artists. And my question is, how are these artists and the artists that have dedicated themselves to following that path, how are we figuratively and at times quite literally in the gutter? It ought not be. And I'm not here to evangelize or apologize or qualify any of the statements I'm making. I am here to affirm our dignity. I am here to express gratitude and admiration for the ways that we continually and generously give while facing such volatile circumstances, to encourage us to keep our imaginations, to feed our spirits, and to walk tall and continue to walk tall, proud and worthy of such a noble and courageous path. And just in case, if you were wondering if you were off, for feeling that tension of mixed messaging, feeling like your life is hanging in the balance of such a gross misalignment of the espoused values of this society and the budgeted ones, for feeling like a noble in the gutter. You're not crazy. You're not off. So let us soothe our souls for the journey ahead. Take care, my friends. Still upward and onward. And as Van Gogh put it, let's do all of this based less on resentment than on love in spite of everything. Thank you. I love you. I honor you. I see you. We need you. We will get through this. And as the comedian and actress Monique says, I love us for real. So, y'all, as a benediction, let's go for it like we did last time. Oh, excuse me. Let us live in wholeness. Let us give from fullness. Let us create from passion. Love y'all. Until next time on the Artist Sanctuary with Whitney Morrison. Hey y'all, Whitney here. Thanks so much for tuning in today. I want you to know that it is free to support the work we're doing here at the Artist Sanctuary with Whitney Morrison. So please comment, like, share, and subscribe, and consider leaving a review. That will really help other people who don't know me to be able to benefit from the podcast. But also, if you're wondering what it is that you can do to stand with artists during this especially difficult time for so many, there is an opportunity. The amazing people at PayPal have a platform for what they call generosity campaigns. And we are starting one as part of the artist advocacy arm of the Artist Sanctuary with Whitney Morrison. Our campaign, Budding Artists Offering Grants for young artists in the in-between, school and major artistic opportunities, as a type of COVID relief and as a type of encouragement for them to keep going. I remember being in that in-between phase for almost 2 years between school and a young artist program, and how difficult it was. I cannot imagine what it is like for those going through that period through COVID. And so it's on my heart, as some of the church mothers would say, to raise an offering for the young people. Now, there are several different funds for more established artists that I've seen for COVID relief, but I have yet to see anything directly targeted toward the needs of the young establishing artist during COVID times. So I'm hoping that you will consider partnering with us financially to identify and support dedicated young artists in a wide range of disciplines who need financial and moral support. They would need to demonstrate a high level of talent and dedication to their craft, a commitment to civic and community engagement, and be able to articulate their why and an intention toward dedicating themselves to artistic endeavors in the future. And we have good news. We have an amazing donor who has pledged to match the first $1,000 raised. Woohoo! So if you are able to help with $50 in the first $1,000 we raise, your gift will count for double, $100. So please consider giving a gift. Our goal is to honor 2 awardees with a minimum of $1,000. And for every additional $1,000 raised, we will help another budding artist. Because of PayPal's generosity, 100% of US dollars raised for this campaign will go directly to the artists, directly to them. So I know that this is a hard time for so many. So if you do not have to give, please consider sharing this campaign. But if you are able, please consider making a contribution. And for the artists who would be in need of this assistance, please subscribe and connect with the podcast so that you will be first notified of the application once it opens. And I'll just leave you with the words of the brilliant poet, Amanda Gorman. For there is always light, if only we're brave enough to see it, if only we're brave enough to be it. Let's shine, y'all. Peace.